All right, welcome to part 2 of the video series where we spend some time looking at decoding the question. Now, just to pause it really quick before we start, there's going to be some requirements for this video, and these requirements were covered in part 1 where we spent some time understanding the different types of 10-mark questions. So really quick, if you're watching this and you're going to engage with the content, what I need you to be able to do or have is understanding of the differences between the 10-mark question types. For example, with culture and identity, you've got the two 10-mark questions. I need you to know the differences between them. I also need you to understand the key features of the outline and explain questions. Those are the ones that we're focused on in this video series. So really quick, you don't have an item with these types of questions. There's no hooks. There's less guidance because of no item. There's no evaluation point. It's testing your ability to explain things in depth, your knowledge, your understanding, these sorts of things. And then finally, I need you to have selected a 10-mark outline and explain question. Now, you can use the one in this video. We have that down here, as you can see. You can use this one. You can use any other 10-mark question as long as it follows the outline and explain type of question. Otherwise, if you've got all those things ticked off, you're good to go. We can continue. So we're going to be focusing on decoding the outline and explain question here. So we need to break things down. And I think the easiest way for me to explain it to you is to view the question in 3 separate categories. You've got the command words, you've got the topic, and you've got the focus. And we also need to be able to then apply these command words, topics, and focuses into your question if you're not using the one that we've got on the screen. So let's get straight into it. So what do I mean by command words? Well, in terms of the question here, I like to view command words as the instructions as to what the question is asking you to do. So you might have some questions that say you need to evaluate or you need to analyze. Those are command words. Now, for the sake of this question, the command words are at the start. So we have the first command word, which is outline. This is the question telling you to do something. And explain. Again, the question is telling you to do something. And if you want to be technical with it, it's asking you to do it twice. So we can highlight that. So what do we mean by outline for these types of questions? The way I like to try and explain it to people is when we're trying to outline something, we're giving a very brief statement, a sentence, a starter point. We're just trying to get our foot in the door with the point we're trying to make. So you could say that we are making a statement. Okay? So that could be one sentence. And explain is following on that statement or explaining that statement. Well, I can't use the word explain because that's what it's telling us to do. Going in depth. So you make a statement about a point and then you spend the next however many sentences going in depth. And just to bring you back to one of the key features about the outline and explain question is it's assessing you on your ability to go in depth, your knowledge. So this makes complete sense. You make a statement at the start and you really go into it, you're demonstrating your knowledge and understanding. So if we put here command words and then explain. Okay. Now, the topic and the focus. This one's a bit trickier to explain, and I don't want you to get too caught up in identifying which one is topic and which one is focus all the time. The whole point of this table, and I'll explain it, is to make you view the question in a specific way. So, we need to see the question as one thing or one concept affecting another concept. That's the main takeaway point here. With these types of questions, you are asked to view a topic, and then you're asked to view how a concept can affect that topic or how it's affected by that topic. It's very confusing and the wording might not be perfect. If there are any questions about this, obviously, please do reach out to me as part of the whole video series. That is feedback that I need to have. So let's start by picking out potential topics and potential focuses in this question. So Alan explained 2 reasons why consumption may be affected by social class. So we have a topic here, we have a concept, consumption. You would have covered this in class. May be affected by social class. Again, something else that you've covered in class. So then the question then becomes, which one's affecting the other? Well, if you read the question carefully, it will tell us. So Alan explained 2 reasons why consumption may be affected by social class. So we have our concept of consumption, and consumption or consumption habits are affected by social class. Now, we know there are, various types of social class and how those various types of social class exist in society, and how then those people in those groups, their consumption would be different from someone else of a different social class. We understand that, and that will obviously help form our answer. But for the sake of this video, we need to look at. So for the sake of this question, we need to consider which one is a topic and which one is a focus. The consumption itself, and you could argue that both affect each other, but for the sake of this question, to keep it simple, I want us to consider that consumption is the topic, and I'll explain why. Consumption by itself, I guess, is very static. It's only from looking at it from the perspective of a social class or social classes that we can see the differences. If everyone was the same social class, would we then have different rates of consumption? Well, the answer is yes, because there are other factors to consider, but we're not going to go into those in this video. So the focus then needs to be on social class, because again, social class is affecting consumption. So for the focus, your best bet is to look at the concept that is affecting the other concept. So how is concept A, social class, affecting concept B, consumption? And just a quick point here, the focus can often be switched into whatever. So this question could have easily existed in a different manner. Instead of saying consumption may be affected by social class, you may have changed it for how could consumption be affected by age? How could it be changed by gender, sexuality? So the focus is affecting something else, but that focus can obviously be interchanged depending on what the question is. Consumption remains as it is. I hope that makes sense. Again, I understand that everyone has different ways of understanding how to tackle a question and understand what it's asking you to do. So here's what I need you to do as part of this task. So your activity will be to identify the command word in your question, the topic, and the focus as well. So if you've been using this question, or if you're going to be using this question as your question that you're going to answer, the work has been done for you. What you need to do is have an honest conversation with yourself and see if you truly understand why we've reached the conclusion that we have. If you are using your own question, then you need to complete this grid yourself, this small table. It's a very short task. I don't want you to spend too much time on it. The main point is to get you to think about how one thing is affecting another and understanding that, how that's going to help you with the mind mapping process that we've got coming up. Okay, what we'll do then is we'll finish it there for now. If you've got any questions, comments, feedback, whatever, do get in contact with me. But until next time, you take care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next video.